You are listening to the Taps and Teas Show, weekly conversations for people passionate about marketing, golf, and craft beer. Marty is the co-founder of Bad Rhino, an award-winning digital marketing agency helping golf and craft beer brands get real results in social media marketing. Here is your host, Marty McDonald.
All right, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Taps and Teas, and welcome to 2021. This is one of our first episodes of the year, and I'm pretty excited to catch up with a gentleman that I talked to a few times. Wow, it feels like forever ago. It's probably like at least 6-7 years, and just having like some general conversations about, golf and about things going on in e-com and all that. And, he's been out there grinding away, doing his own thing. I think the first time I talked to him, he talked about his brand. And I said, I've seen that brand. And I said, it's just some big dude just cranking drives into a net. And he's like, yeah, that's me. And I always remember that. And I'm very happy to have Tyler Sullivan on the show today. Tyler is founder of Bombtech. Maybe you're familiar, maybe you're not. And he's also runs Ecom Growers, where he has helped Shopify owners add 6-7 figures in additional sales. So we're going to talk a little golf, a little marketing today. But where Tyler has been, he's been able to learn a formula for running successful, profitable ecom businesses, right? Which is huge in 2021 with everybody being online and all the changes in the world. But where he really focuses in on, and this is what I love about when he launched his brand, is he has real conversation with customers and potential buyers, and he's pulled that into his agency. But I really always was impressed about how he communicated with his audience when he first started out. And I'll let him talk about that a little bit more. But the way he does communicate is something that we're going to, focus in on when you're listening to this. And then when you go search out Tyler out there on the internet, because he's focused on customer experience and then bringing people into that community where he's not just like hitting them over the head with selling, but he's also talking to them and working with them and explaining products and educating, which is huge in a customer journey online today. So without any further ado, Tyler, are you there?
I'm here, man. I'm so pumped to be here. Thanks for having me.
No problem. I'm excited to have you. So anything I missed there? Anything you want to add there and tell everybody what you're all about?
You killed it, man. It was a great intro. I mean, I'm an accidental entrepreneur. I'm a golfer first, and I stumbled onto it, man. And I think when we spoke, I can't even remember 6-7 years ago. I'm not that smart, so I was just trying to wrap my head around and talk to smarter people than myself, and and see if I could learn something. And it took me a while, but we've got a great product, and I was very fortunate and lucky to just document what I was doing on Facebook and be transparent. And that has allowed us now, I think we're up to almost 500,000 golf clubs sold. And it's, 2020, it's such a stressful year with the world. And I hope everyone out there is healthy and safe, number one. And, it has been a great year to be in golf. I mean, golf has been trending down for like 20 years and now it's trending up. So, I mean, for us, we had like a record year. I kept selling our product like at a rate I couldn't even imagine. And life is good. And, I'm very, very fortunate. 2021, golf is still hot. And, I've been grinding at this for 9 years. And, my whole thing is I'm just a golfer like all my clients or customers. And I truly care about them because we're not a big brand. And, I'm just very thankful. I don't know how else to say it. It's been fun and it doesn't feel like work. I have pivoted a little bit and now I enjoy more time with my kids versus when I used to work 20 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Yeah, sometimes it's always fun when people talk about, oh, well, it must be nice starting something or doing something. And everybody wants to talk about the after effects, like, where you're at now, right? And the funniest thing is a lot of people don't realize that those 20-hour days are more regular than, you realize. And even you probably going into it thinking, oh, I can start this and maybe it's 10, 12, but you don't realize like how much goes into it. And it's a great learning experience and people forget about that. So I'm glad like you pivoted and you're able to spend more time with your family because back in the day, you were pumping out content all the time and it was just you, right?
I was doing everything wrong, man. I was assembling clubs myself, shipping clubs myself, doing live chat, making content. I mean, I did everything. Now we don't assemble our own clubs in house. I mean, they're all barcode ready to go. I've got a team very small team, but I've got a team of experts that are way smarter than myself. And really what I get to do, and it took me 2 kids, like I got fired from my day job. That was the first. I've had 3 major epiphanies. 2 of them were kids. One was being fired. I was fired from my day job when Bombtech was a side hustle, and it was crazy timing. So I was doing like, man, I don't even know, shipping a couple clubs a day. And my boss brings me into his office and he's like, hey, today's your last day and your last paycheck's last week. And I just found out my wife was pregnant and it was the week before Thanksgiving. And I go, well, I'm going to go get some water so I don't knock you out. So I was just like, I didn't see it coming. I was a sales guy and our sales were up like 200%. And I felt so much immense pressure because I had a newborn on the way. I was fired from my great, it was a solid paying job. That there was really no other route. And my wife was so supportive and she's like, you gonna make Bombtech work or what? And that was the period of time where I went from like working a lot after hours to like all in, all day, all night, everything I had to think, learn, grow, hire, fire, every possible thing I could. And then when I had my first kid, I'm like, dude, this is too much. Like, I got to be a dad too. And it took me a long time. And it really took till my second kid where I said, I'm taking some time off. And I took 6 weeks off. And at that point, it put some smart people in the right seats. And what do you think happened to sales in those 6 weeks I was off?
They probably were higher.
They were higher. I said, oh shit, I'm not that smart or important anyways. So that I definitely still work. So let's not say I don't work, but it doesn't feel like work. It's not all consuming. And really like, I now at this point just test product, and like I'm just like a product. It's like that's my dream is, I design stuff with a third-party engineer and our factory, and I just go out and play golf. So like it took me years and years of like almost hating golf because it turned into work to this last 3 years. I actually got to enjoy it again. And like this year, I used to always go on the course with like 50 different prototypes and taking video and just working all day. Now it's like this year, I just like went out and played golf and it was magical. I was like, I fell in love with the game over and over again. And it was nice to hit like pure shots and have a real swing again. And, so it really went from like a obsession, accidental entrepreneurship where we had success and I wanted to make it work for my family. And now I'm like trying to enjoy it, and it's still not easy being a small underdog brand and in a very competitive space. So, I'm like I said, golf's trending, great time to be in a direct consumer place. And I'm just very fortunate to have the team, the family to support me and just the best customers in the world, man,
That's awesome. So you get fired and you're going, okay, so you have your, what I like to call the oh shit moment, right? And we all have them with, multiple times in life and you try to limit them, but they do happen. And you're just sitting there and, you're going to get up and the next day your wife's pregnant and then your wife calls you out like, hey, what are you going to do? Like, what's the first thing? Because I think people jump into some of these things and then they have that moment and then they have to make it work. What's the first thing that you did, if you can recall, or the first couple of days that, even though it was a grind, what did you do?
I did all the things wrong, like that's the thing. It's funny. It's like, if I knew what I did now, I still probably wouldn't listen to my now self. So it's like, I think at that point, number one, you got to love what you do. So like for me, I could never have done what I did if I truly just didn't love golf. I grew up playing golf. I was, I competed in high school golf. Not that that's anything crazy, but I just, I loved it. So it didn't feel like work. You know what I mean? So like, that's my first thing to put in context. Like if it's something that you're not passionate about and just looking to make a buck, good luck, man. Because it took me a long time to make some money at it, and it was, so I think what I did is I just started going kind of crazy on social, and it was good timing too. I mean, this is 2012. So social media, the reach on, especially on Facebook, was organic, was really much higher. So I was just posting stuff like, hey, I'm going up to the University of Vermont where I first designed our first driver with some students. It's like, hey, I'm looking at designing this driver, what's a cool name, or like what color would resonate with you, or what loft do you play? And just was asking questions that I wanted to know the answer to. And that's a
Mm-hmm.
big thesis of what I try to continue to do. Because you know what? I don't know everything. I don't know much,
Right.
to be honest. So like I lean on our current, I don't even know what the number is, 100,000 plus people that are bought or something, and say, hey guys, I'm thinking about launching this product. Here's a prototype, here's a design, or here's a look. What do you guys think? And they reply and say, dude, that looks terrible, or I definitely swing that, or whatever it is. And it's much easier now to have that community and all that. But really, it was early days hitting Facebook, and I did put myself on the content and in the content rather, because I had to. I couldn't afford to pay anyone. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like that video you referred to is I was much bigger and was doing like long drive or attempting to, and I hit a ball through a net in the backyard, and it got like 10,000 comments and 300,000 views off a boost. And so people kind of related to me as like a regular guy, because I am, and that's half the brand is kind of me and my story. And it wasn't intentional. I didn't say, hey, I'm gonna go out and put myself on camera and sell 500,000 golf clubs to regular guys. There was that. It was never even a thought. I just was doing it, enjoyed it, loved it, saw some traction, and just kept pushing.
Yeah, it's so funny. And full disclosure, everyone. So about 3 weeks ago, Sully has a booking agent and hit me up to come on the podcast. And I was like, this is kind of funny. Like things comes full circle. So the first time I ever talked to him, I think it was right after you got laid off, or right when you created that video. Like it was somewhere right in there, because I don't know how you were referred to me through mutual friends or whatever. And you called, and it was just like a peppering of questions, which was fun. But at the same time, you're like, have you ever heard of this? And I was like, yeah, I saw some giant dude whacking a driver, and I think he hit the ball through the net. He goes, yeah, that's me. And then like, we just had a conversation from there, and it was all over the map. I do remember that. And I remember where I was actually at a Starbucks in my car. Wow. And it's so funny because like some things come back, but you hit a couple of things on there. It's like you just get out there and you just do it, right? And you're just putting out there and you're being real. And I think that's a huge thing that people sometimes miss. Even though you made all those mistakes, you just did it, right? And it's just like you kind of figure out as you're going along. And you hit a time where, on organic, you could really do that, which is awesome.
Hey, if you're enjoying what you're hearing on the show and want more, head on over to tapsandtees.info and get our free report with game-changing tips and strategies straight to your inbox. Just enter your info and stop being stuck with no marketing plan.
So all the lessons that you took from growing your brand and growing an e-com brand, so now you have, an agency or consultancy where you're helping people do that. So one thing is like how in 2021, if somebody came to you as a client and said, hey, I got my store up, we're doing close to 1 million or just over 1 million, which is, I know the clients that you work with, what would you tell them? Because they're probably making all the mistakes that you made. And what would you tell them that they need to change? Or what would you tell them that is going to be the biggest trend coming forward?
Yeah, it's funny. Like the second business was a total accident too. Like I had no intentions of starting an agency, and my first employee at Bombtech, Chris, who was the most he's my partner now in the agency. He is and was the most hardworking person I've ever met in my life. He was me, but just working as an employee at Bombtech, working 20 hours a day, coming up with ideas. I remember he would text me at like 2 a.m. coming home from the bar. It's like, yo, dude, you see the conversion rate on the website? Or I got an idea for this golf club. I'm like, who is this kid? And so he worked with me side by side in the brand for like 4 years and crushed it. He helped bring my brand voice into emails. We learned how to use Klaviyo to drive revenue. And he 3 years ago was like, hey, I'm killing it for you. People are reaching out to you to so people start reaching out to me like, hey, can you help? And I was like, no. I'm like, I just own a golf brand, and like, I love it. I can't help you. And Chris, my first employee, was like, hey, I want to help him. I was like, dude, I'll do whatever it takes to support you if you want to make it happen, because I want you, because he deserves everything he gets, because he worked harder than anyone could ever for me. So he went out, got 3 clients, and we only do one thing, that's email marketing, which is the highest ROI thing we could do, easily to measure, easy to implement. And I said, I can support that because I've seen it in my own brand. And we do SMS text as well. I said, go out, show me you can get results for other brands, and we'll come back to me. So he was still working for me. He side hustled, got 3 clients. like doubled or tripled their revenue with email. And I was like, that's pretty good. I said, do you want to partner up? And we did. So I partnered up with him, and I said, hey, I'm not going to be in the weeds with you. I've got another company, but I will help you on the lead generation side. We'll talk about, Bombtech where it's relevant and that story that people already hit me up on to help them. And you can leverage that if you want. And now we have 7 employees. We just hit over 7 figures. So we got 30 clients, and we've got about 7 people waiting to join as clients. And we work with e-com brands doing, 2 to 20 million a year. And again, that was something I never even thought I would ever start, but it was just a unbelievable relationship from boss to employee where he's a hardcore golfer, and my dream for him in 2021 is to hire him out of the business of that, and we can golf more together. So I'm selfish. I'm like, dude, stop working so much so we can go golfing. But again, that was something where it just kind of happened. And I just support people that show me they're kind of, I wouldn't say worth it, but he hustled, man, and just is a unique guy. And I do whatever I can to support him. And we've got the formula, and it's just like, I'm like, what's that, Hair Club for Men? I'm like not only the president, I'm also a client. So yeah, it's kind of crazy, so now I've got the golf brand that, is I wouldn't say autopilot by any means, but it's my fun, it's my core. And then the agency where I'm not in it, but I get to take what I've learned from the other brand and just kind of help him. So he tells me his problems. I'm almost like a consultant for him. I say, okay, well, let's take one thing, break it down, make it more efficient so we can scale it up. And that's a really heavy people business. So we're learning lots about, investing in people. We're launching, 401k, full health, bonuses. We've been paying them like more than we normally would, and just learning about, that's more like a traditional business model in my mind. With e-commerce, I don't need a lot of people to ship product. We've got the fulfillment center that ships, but I don't need a lot of in-house guys.
Right.
Whereas agency, it's like a lot of people, and we're trying to scale up to, 20 people by end of the year. So just trying to treat them as if I was, an employee of my own company. Like, how would I want to be treated?
Right.
And it's not been easy. It's a different type of business, and it's really fun. And I just like growth and things that are already stuff I'm doing. I never do stuff that is like out of the left field that would be, totally not in my normal wheelhouse. I kind of just have gone where, I don't know, chips have laid, and I've been very, very lucky.
That's awesome. Yeah. So real quick on email, because as an agency owner and working with a lot of people, you get the pushback initially on email. People are like, I don't want to email as much. I don't want to do all that. What are your thoughts, and what have you seen over your experiences with email? Because obviously it works. I know that. I'm a big fan of it for e-com especially, but you always get the pushback at first.
Yeah, I think there's just, with anything, there's the wrong way and the right way to do it, right? So like for email, I'm pretty like basic with my strategies and thoughts. And that I think is the benefit, is I'm not that smart. But like when I think of email, it's like when you send me an email, are you sending me a brochure template with 15 calls to action in a newsletter? No way. You're sending me a plain text email like, yo, what time are you picking me up to play golf? Right. So like I take that same approach and be native to email and say, hey, what's the question email I have? We in one of our emails, it's like I just sent out was, hey, it's 2021. What is your number one golf goal? Like for the year? And like that's going to get 5,000 replies. And what it does, it's an authentic, real conversation that allows me to build the community that, number one, I want to know the answers to. I like engaging with and knowing what our customers are doing, but also gives us crazy good insight. Like we're potentially launching a chipper. I just said, hey, I'm thinking about launching a chipper or a 64-degree wedge. Reply back, yeah, or one or two. One is for the chipper, two is for the 66. And that email got like, I was blown away with which one they voted for. So it's just kind of taking what I've already done on social, which is try to ask questions that get engagement, and do it in a real authentic way on an email. And it's been super effective. And, we definitely still push like new launches, new offers, new products, like and deals and whatever. But it's just people are not being authentic and native to the platform. And it's just an overall two-way communication, just like you and I are having a conversation today. I just try to look at that with any platform,
Yep. And in full disclosure, as a customer of Bombtech, I get those emails over the years, and I will say they are plain text, they are conversational, and I always read just about every single one of them because I know, hey, let's just see what he's up to, number one. But then also, when you use the product, you get that information and it doesn't feel like it's salesy, right? It's like, oh, there's something new coming out. Well, maybe I want it, maybe I don't. But it never comes across as like this cheesy email. And I think what Sully just said there, anybody listen to this, golf world, beer world, or anything e-com or even any business is yes, there's a time and a place for like a newsletter. There's a time and a place for something that's a little salesy that maybe have some graphics in there. But for the most part, general, just easy conversation, short, quick bites via email, especially in ecom, really work because you're developing a relationship with that community of people that buy your product or requested information. And it really is a game changer and it can help change it. So if, Dick's Sporting Goods can email everybody 7 days a week, you can definitely pump out whatever is a good cadence for you to actually get really good results. And it really does work. And it'll help buttress all the other things that you're doing out there, paid ads, organic, everything in content. It just really does help. So really good insight there, Sully. So a couple of things as we wrap it up. Still a beer drinker, man?
Oh, man, I've been drinking a lot during 2020. Not going to lie. I don't know. I go back and forth. So like Vermont is massive on the craft brew scene. So I definitely like my IPAs. There's no doubt. The thing is with those, I can't just slam a bunch of those. I have a couple and I'm feeling it. I'm getting old, dude.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what happens.
I tend to lean a little towards, whiskey lately. Mm-hmm. Always a big gin and tonic guy too.
Right.
Those are always good. But yeah, I mean, definitely, a couple beers a night, got to get through this COVID thing.
You have a favorite one in Vermont or a favorite one overall?
Yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah. I mean, Frost Brew, they're like right near me. That's really good. I mean, there's so many breweries. Conehead IPA is really good. It's funny, like so many options. I get confused. I'm like, can you keep it simple, man?
I know.
It was like the first one was like Switchback. That was like the original craft brew. And now there's so many craft brews. But yeah, anything IPA you throw in front of me, I'm gonna down it with no problem.
Nice. Yep. Yeah, I find the same thing with IPAs. I went through a whole IPA. Everybody did. I mean, but it was funny when it started to become a quote unquote craze. About 10 years ago, I'd already been in, I was like, I've been drinking IPAs since the 90s. And a lot of people didn't like them because they were bitter and different taste. And I like them. And I like to always search out different ones. And it was funny. It's just like the way that whole thing went. And I was like, yeah, I've been drinking these things for a while. And I am now I still like IPA, but if I'm going to have more than one or two beers, I'm definitely not starting off with, or I'll start off with an IPA, but it's definitely not ending there. I've been big on Pilsners and stouts and some other things that are much, much lighter, and lagers too. And I'm glad that craft beers, some of them are shifting a little bit more to some of those beers or lighter IPAs, which are always good.
I'd be down with that. I don't think I've really found a good light IPA. It's always like the double IPA, and it's I got kids, man, so it's like I get dad buzz, which is like one of those things. So it's I can't hang like I used to, man. I wish I could, but those days are over.
That's the whole thing, is like the high alcohol is what gets you. It's like, and it doesn't taste like high alcohol. Like a lot of the beers, like other beers, like outside of IPAs, the hops mask that high ABV, right? So for me, it's like you see people that are like, oh yeah, this tastes really good, and you see them on their third, and I'm like, yo, that's like a 11% beer, and I'm like, I know it doesn't taste like there's alcohol in there, but you're gonna feel this very soon.
That's
and
dangerous.
It's dangerous. And I've had those days where I'm like, whoa, what happened? Like, how did that happen? You have like a slight buzz, and the next thing you know, you're like, I got to stop drinking altogether. I got to, sober up here for another hour. But it's always fun talking to people in different parts of the country about beer. And I've been able to travel around talking about beer and having beer clients, which has been awesome. As far as that, like in 2021, in e-com, you already talked about, how well everything's going and you got, some goals there. Are there any goals with Bombtech this year?
Yeah, I mean, we're scaling like crazy right now. I mean, last year we had so many. I wouldn't. It would be a struggle, but like we just sold out so often, and
Mm-hmm.
really like so I'm investing a ton, into really stocking well, so we don't miss a lot of those opportunities. So right now
Right.
I mean, I may have thrown up thinking about how much I'm spending, but I'm investing to go big because this is a unique time in the world in terms of golf. There's a lot of new golfers getting in the game, which I'm super pumped about and excited. Although I can't get a tee time for like 2 weeks at my
That's
club.
what I was saying.
I was like, I used to be able to. It's funny. I used to go to my the country club in town. It's nothing fancy, but it's a great course. Super windy, but it's really fun. It's open enough. I don't lose too many balls. And I used to go over there for like what I would call work. I'd have
Right.
breakfast. I'd do a quick workout, and then I hit some email, post on social and go play around. We'll just walk out on the tee. Now, this year, I had to book out 2 weeks in advance. And it was
Mm-hmm.
great. This is midweek. I'm like, dude, it's blowing up my spot. Same thing's happening with the mountain. So I ski a lot in the winter here in Vermont. And, I was like, the mountain I was going to is so busy. I was like, dude, I'm glad people are getting out because I know everyone's freaking out to just go outside. And I'm glad golf has been that for people. And it's
Mm-hmm.
cool to see it grow. And, I'm just like I said, it's been like we've been selling direct online for so long, never expecting this moment would come where everyone shifts 100% online. So it's a crazy time. I think we'll probably double again this year.
Mm-hmm.
Last year we were up like 35%. But it all goes to like our customers are just the best
Sure.
customers in the world, and like our repeat order rate's so high because I do invest a ton in them to make sure they're happy with their experience and truly will do anything for them. And it's great to have great products and just life's good, man. So like my personal goal is not to ramble, is to fish more, golf more, ski more, work a little bit, and just have more impact on my employees and families' lives. 'Cause that's where I'm trying to shift. Is like, it wasn't easy for a long time, and things are doing well. So I'm trying to reward those that are helping me, and do as much as I can to invest in them, like I did with my first employee, Chris, who's now my partner. So
It's awesome.
and hopefully the world is healthy, man, and like we get through this, dude. Because I want to throw some sick high fives and hug some people.
Yeah. And it's so funny you mentioned the golf thing. I remember when they had the shutdown, I was like, well, they can't close the outside. And then they shut down golf courses for a solid month. And I was like,
Oh wow.
okay, you kind of ruined my plan here. Cause I was like, that was the first thing. I was like, all right, well, I can't do this or I can't do that. And I'm like, I guess we're going to go play golf. And, they shut courses down for a little while. And then when it came back, I had the same reaction. I was like, this is awesome. And then I was like, oh, can I get a tee time? And I'm like, what the heck? Like, and I was happy for my golf clients and people we work with because they've all been doing well. And that's awesome, when you can celebrate that. And it's also good for people to get out and it's good for the game. So I
Yeah.
wasn't angry about it, but I was selfish about it, going, damn it, like I can't get a tee time.
I
And
know.
especially that, like I play midweek. I never play on the weekend.
Yeah.
And that's one of the privileges of having your own business and setting your schedule. I was like, I'll go out early in the morning and be done by lunch and then start working.
Yep.
And but yeah, it was crazy. It was awesome. But Sully, I really appreciate it. My Bombtech 3-wood is always in my bag. It's one of my
Love it,
favorite
man.
clubs. And the first time I ever hit it, I remember I just put this beautiful 235, it was like 235 yard because the carry was about 215. And I'll never forget because it was over water. It was in Ocean City, Maryland at Lighthouse
Oh,
Sound.
nice.
And it was on, I think, the hole 3 that goes back to the water, if I remember correctly. And I remember just, we're sitting there playing and my buddy's like, what's that? And I'm like, it's one of the new clubs. I hit the range a few times, but I never really swung it. And I wasn't really sure how it was going to come off. I was like, when you swing something, you're just
Yeah.
not really sure. And I was like, put it up there. And he's like, man, that works. And I was like, that's going to work. I was like,
I know that's so funny. I mean, that's the one thing that's kind of cool now. It's like having sold more than I ever expected. There's so much more bomb tech on the courses. And
mm-hmm.
it's like, it's a momentum thing. It's like people see it and like, oh man, I heard about those, so it's just much a different battle. But yeah, during March when COVID first hit, I was conservative, man. I didn't know what it meant for golf. And
Yeah.
it
So
did a full 180 of what I expected. Because I fork out, I'm like, cut the shipment. We're not going to do that many. It's too much. I was worried. And so golf's having a moment, trying to ride the wave and just make sure people are happy. And yeah, man, I appreciate the business too. That's awesome.
Yeah. Sully, tell everybody where they can find you online and anything that you want to plug here.
Yeah, sure. They can check me out if they golf at bombtechgolf.com, or if they are an e-com brand, doing over $1 million a year, ecomgrowers.com. Also, I've been really having fun on LinkedIn. Tyler Sullivan on LinkedIn. If you guys want to chat, ping me direct. Let's do it. But yeah, no, I appreciate the time. Super fun. Next time we'll have to do it in person on the golf course with craft beers.
There you go. I'm down for that. I appreciate your time, and thanks everyone for listening. Appreciate all the support over the past year. Now that we're in 2021, I'm getting back to the more fun interviews like this one, and we'll have some more beer folks on, some more golf folks, and just talk about stuff that's going on in marketing and golf like we always do. And I appreciate everything, and thanks again, and we'll see you soon on the next episode of Taps and Tees.
This is the podcastfactory.com.